Alrighty. Perry Riley will be out. Did not participate were Hatcher, neck and knee. Deshaun Jackson, knee. Limited were Jerron Johnson, hammy. Trent Williams, foot. Keenan Robinson, shoulder. Andre Roberts, knee. Chris Thompson, shoulder. Full go were Will Compton, shoulder. D. Hall, toe. And Golston, wrist.
Jay, what can you tell us about Alex Smith, the new tight end, and obviously he played for you in 2013. Does his familiarity with the offense help him kind of get on the field quicker?
Yeah, I think that's important. You know, he has familiarity with the offense. He stepped right in here and knows all the terminology already, and we need somebody fast. And he's a guy that can play multiple positions for us already, and that's the main reason he's big and can handle the inline blocking, catch a ball, and do some good things. But what we're asking him to do, you know, really Jordan's our tight end. We still have Tom Compton with the ability to line up in the big stuff, and then he'll be part of the offense also a little bit.
Going back to Chris Thompson, is there any change with him? Is there any optimism for him this week yet?
Yeah, he did some stuff today, so there is optimism with him. We'll have to wait and see how he, how it holds up tomorrow, and go from there. It'll be a tough decision, but I feel confident with he and Pierre.
Speaking of running backs, Pierre Thomas only saw a few snaps, did have that one catch. Do you feel like what you saw on Sunday gives you some optimism that he might be able to contribute more in the coming weeks?
Yeah, I think so. Getting acclimated to the pass protection calls is the big thing. I think the route tree, though he's run all the routes, it's a matter of knowing what they're called. They're called a little bit differently, and I think he's progressing at a nice rate, and I think he has a great understanding of the offense already, a lot more now than I would have anticipated. So I don't have any hesitation whatsoever playing him in any third down situation or first or second down for that matter.
With Trent, which foot is it and what? How
Who?
serious?
Trent Williams, foot. You don't get which foot. All you get is foot. I don't know. I'm not even going to guess. He just said his foot hurt. Yeah.
Something serious at all, or?
I don't think so. I think it's just a little sore. It's this time of year. He's a big man, and he plays very hard, and he's had some wear and tear on that foot. It's the same one, whatever it is, whichever one it was. I don't know, left one. But I think it's more of a rest day for him.
Rashad Ross didn't play very many snaps, but he had two pretty important catches for the game. Is he starting to one catch? Okay, but is he starting to catch on the offense a little bit?
He is. He is. He had two catches. One was very important on third down. The other one, he could have run through and maybe scored. But we like Ross. Ross gives you that added element of speed, and he's doing a good job. He's playing behind 3-4 very good receivers. He's waiting his turn, and if Andre comes back, we'll have to make a decision there. So we like where he's at.
Coach Deshaun, watch today. Is there any doubt in your mind he'll be ready to go on Sunday? And with him there, how better or different are you guys?
I think, you saw him finish the game, and I think that's a pretty good indication that he's not as serious as it appears to be. So I feel confident. When guys finish the game on Sunday, usually you feel pretty good about them playing the next week. And I think that's the case with Deshaun. I think he just needs to get into rehab, get the soreness out a little bit, get the running tomorrow, and then obviously Friday he'll be ready to roll. I hope.
How different are you with him?
How different?
Is your offense with him there?
Oh, it's different. Obviously, it's different in a good way. I mean, he's fast. He's a very good player. He didn't have many catches in the first half. He drew a 42-yard pass interference call, had two catches for another 40-some yards. So you look at his production and say, it's not that great. But really, he stretches the defense, and people have to account for him. He's a good player, obviously.
How would you assess what Tyrod Taylor's been able to do in his first season as a starting quarterback?
Oh, man, he's been impressive, and really taking advantage of a situation where he had to sit behind a heck of a quarterback in Flacco at Baltimore, and got limited reps there. And when he did, he showed Buffalo enough to take a chance on him, and he's really made it pay off. He's a very good player. He's a much better passer than I think people would have given him credit for, but he's very good with his legs, can run the ball extremely well out of the pocket and throw on the run. I've been impressed with him.
Jay, obviously you've had occasion to talk to the team about following a victory with a victory. At this point, have you hit on a new way of driving that message home or emphasizing that heading into this game?
Well, I think the message is pretty clear. You know, we're 6-7 in a 3-way tie for first place. That's really the motivation. We don't care how many wins in a row it is. I think really it's all about playing Buffalo and maintaining that advantage, that small advantage that we have in the NFC East. In order to do that, we have to win. And the back-to-back thing is obviously something we're going to have to eventually do to get to the division championship. So I think everybody knows what's at stake and knows that we've had trouble putting back-to-back wins together, but hopefully they'll be ready and understand that.
Jay, back to Trent Williams. Could you evaluate the year he's had on the field and what he's meant as a leader as well?
Yeah, well, on the field, I think, established himself. He's already established himself as top tackle in the game, you know, and heck, we paid him for it. So, you know, and off the field, man, he's just one of those guys that really is. I've been really impressed with the way he's worked this year with Coach Callahan. You know, I think when you're as good as he is, and you bring in a new coach with new set of rules and work ethic and all that stuff. Not to say we didn't have work ethic before, but sometimes guys are resistant to change, and he's been excellent about it. You know, he's worked very hard. He's kept his weight down and played extremely well. And I think the younger linemen like Sheriff and Long and Moses, they all look up to him, and it's been a great situation for everybody with him as a leader.
Jay, you guys have been sacked 14 times over the last 5 games, and one of those games, the Giant game, you guys didn't allow any sacks. Is there any common thread that you can see that maybe is causing a little bit of that?
I don't know. I think, you know, it's kind of like the running game sometimes when you give up some, you know, when you only average a couple yards of carry on certain plays. I think it's a combination of things. Sometimes it's interior, sometimes it's a tackle, sometimes the quarterback didn't see, sometimes a coverage sack. I think the other day Chicago had a coverage sack where Kirk had nowhere to go with the ball and just pulled it down. And, you know, I think we try to really harp on the fact that we don't want negative plays, but sometimes that's the only play is protecting the ball and taking a sack for a 4 or 5 yard loss as opposed to trying to force the ball or get rid of the ball and get stripped and fumbled. So I think overall I think we like the sacks to be down, obviously, but still I think our rate of sacks per pass attempt is pretty good amongst the league.
How much of this season for you has been about evaluating Kirk Cousins as a starting QB in the NFL, and where have you seen his greatest area of growth?
I think this, you know, as a coach, I think you're evaluating everybody all the time, not just your quarterback. But obviously, he's an important piece to the puzzle when you're talking about coaching in the National Football League, having a quarterback. And I think his greatest achievement so far is his ability to progress and get better, really, and study and want to get better and learn. And study each opponent on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, and understand that there's going to be change involved and adapt to that change. So, you know, we're still in the evaluation process, but I'm tickled to death to see how much he's progressed, and you can see his confidence just slowly get more and more, obviously, become more of a factor for him in a good way. So. He's still learning, man. He's still fighting through some things, and we're still coaching the heck out of him. But I like where he's going. I like what he's about, what he represents as a football player and as a person, and we'll go from there.
I have a follow from Liz before about the message. You said the message is clear. Does that mean you feel like you don't have to say anything to the team because they know what's at stake?
I hope not. You know, I'm sure I'll say something. You know, I'll come up with something later on in the week. But you know, this is these guys are pro football players. They know exactly what's at stake, and the ability to have a chance to play for a division championship this late in the year is very exciting to a lot of people. You know, it really is. Football players, staff, everybody in the building is excited for this game on Sunday and next week and the week after, and to be in this position, you can see the energy's up. Everybody's excited, but we also have to stay focused. You know, we have to work extremely hard. We know how close these games have been. The ones we've lost, some of them haven't been, but the majority of our games this year, they've all been very close, decided by a play or two or a series or a turnover or something like that. So we know we got to work extremely hard to protect the football, but it is exciting.
Back to talking about the sacks, it seems like with some of those coverage sacks, you see other quarterbacks have the ability to kind of roll out and just throw the ball, downfield way out of bounds. Is that something you want to work with Kirk on, and maybe something in a later stage of development you could get him to do more often?
Yeah, if that's an opportunity. He's done that before. He had a couple in that game where he threw a couple away and made some good decisions with it. But like I said, sometimes you get pinned in that pocket and you can't escape to the outside because the tackles are pushed in there, and you can't go up because the guards are pushed up, and you have to just, eat it. But, I think every situation is different, and there will be times, there might have been a time or two in that game he could have sprinted out of there and maybe thrown it away. But, that's just a matter of plan. But I think that will come with experience, I hope.
Some of the players have told me that they think Jordan Reed is the MVP of this team. How impressed have you been with what he's done?
Oh, very impressed. Not so much with his, his hands and his route running, all that stuff. That's the fantasy football side of Jordan Reed that obviously is very impressive. But I've been more impressed with him as far as learning all the positions and blocking, becoming a pure tight end. And that's the hardest part for somebody coming out of college who likes to just catch balls and score touchdowns. Now you have to learn to block these outside zones and inside zones and all that stuff. He had a great block on the double team to seal Matt Jones bouncing outside to win the game the other day. I was more impressed with that than his touchdown. So I think him becoming a complete tight end, staying healthy, really buying in and working his butt off with Wes Phillips has been the most impressive. But he is really making a case for what you said.
You guys, the running game is still obviously not where you want it, but did have some success out of the shotgun running it. What does that formation do for a running back that has been successful for your guys, where they seem to be comfortable and effective in it?
Well, a lot of the shotgun runs are out of different personnel, and you get a linebacker off the field, and it's more against the nickel runs, and you get a favorable box count sometimes, where you can pop them. But, we should be successful in all of them. But shotgun and some of our shotgun runs have been better. Some of them the situations, we've hit a couple draws out of the shotgun and some of the one-back powers. But you are a little bit limited in a shotgun as far as what runs you can run. But they have been effective. We do probably need to do more of those.